I think it says we're live.
I think it says that as well.
Fantastic. Here we are. It's 11 a.m. in on the East Coast of the United States of America, and we are here celebrating what would have been Jack Kirby's 103rd birthday. We're starting out a 3-day King Con that we're calling 3 Days for 103. We are the Jack Kirby Museum, and I'm Rand Hoppy. I'm the executive director.
And I'm Tom Kraft, the president of the Jack Kirby Museum.
Yes, and we have another trustee, Mike Cicchini, and he is on his way, he tells me. So looking forward to seeing Mike this morning. So what the heck's going on? What is this all about, Tom?
What did we get ourselves into?
Oh, come on, we got to celebrate Jack's birthday.
Yes,
we've been celebrating the fourth world all summer, and we've been doing these live streams. Turn that YouTube off. All right, okay. So we've been celebrating the fourth world all summer, and by doing live stream events. We feel like we're getting better at it as we go along. We've been trying.
We hope we're getting better at it.
We hope. We
are getting better at it.
Okay. And when it just came time to think about, short notice, it's pandemic brain. Like, what am I doing in 2 weeks? We decided that we would reach out to people and see if they would join us to do a whole bunch of live stream events to celebrate the birthday. So, and what do you know? They said yes. So we're really excited about it. I think I set up the schedules for like 26 events over the next 3 days, which is just fantastic. And, we're just going to do our best to make sure it runs as smoothly and it's fun and informative and all that stuff. But who knows what'll happen? So this is our page on our home on our website. It's kirbymuseum.org 3 for 103, and this is where we've outlined our schedule. So here we are. We're at 11 a.m. today. Introduction and welcome. Welcome. We've already introduced ourselves. At noon, we're going to spend some time with Tom Scioli. He's I lost Tom. Tom, come back. But at noon, we're going to visit with Tom Scioli. Then, really excited to have Steve Sherman, Mark Badger, and Bruce Simon join us, and he's back. He changed the camera, and that was
something strange happened. I don't know.
It just knocked me off. That was my little cartoon character that popped up as our avatar there. So, Vel, my toxic radioactive imp character. Oh, look at you! You're like multi-camera guy.
I'm trying to get the right camera on.
Come on.
It's weird. My one camera just switched off on my computer.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yep. So Steve Sherman was Jack's assistant and a family friend. Mark Badger is an old pal of mine. Bruce Simon, underground cartoonist, who was part of Marvel Mania, and they just for a while they were like going to a number of conventions over on around the East Bay area in California. And so we kind of considered them like Kirby Museum East Bay. They're just a lot of fun, and really looking forward to their kind of their own take on the Kirby biography and analysis of his art. Rob Liefeld is going to join us at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Rob is Image Comics guy, Deadpool, Cable.
Yep.
He's very enthusiastic Jack Kirby fan. So I imagine that will be a very energetic Jack Kirby time with Rob. We have James Romberger at 3. He is fine artist, comic book artist, writer, and he's a very. I just met James years and years ago, and he's very, very interested in Jack. He's appeared at, I think, all of our pop-ups, or a lot of them. We had we did
an interview with him at our first pop-up.
That's right. It's on YouTube.
That's on YouTube, sure.
Yeah. And so really looking forward to James's talk. Then we have Mike Royer visiting today to talk about his personal take on Jack and his work. Some time with that'll be fun. Mike's always fun. And then we're gonna visit with Tracy Kirby, Jack and Roz's granddaughter, and that'll be great. Tracy's always very nice to spend time with Tracy, and then her brother will join us at 6. Jeremy Kirby, he's offering a lot of Kirby care packages these days with Jack Kirby art project that he's got going on, and it'll be great to talk to him about the Goozelbobber or the Goblin. No, Goozelbobber. Yeah,
Goozelbobber.
Yeah, love the Google. I'm a big fan. The Cosmic Diarrhea line. Come on, it's great. And then at 7 p.m., I don't think I can go through all 3 days. Should I go through all 3 days right now? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we want to go a little bit over about who the Jack Kirby Museum is.
Yeah, we'll move on to that. But then at 7 o'clock tonight, Eastern time, we're going to try the thing that the software provides us, and we're going to kind of fill the stream with various and sundry guests. Some of them that are already visiting with us today, others from other guests, just to kind of toast Jack Kirby and have a few people say a few words about him and thank all the fans and all that kind of stuff. So that's today's schedule. It's a little we'll probably be going for 8 hours at least, 9, 8.5.
Something like that. Until we drop dead.
Where's my lunch? Oh.
Yeah. And just to mention that these sessions will probably last about 40 minutes, maybe 45, and then we'll definitely try to have at least 5 or 10 minutes for questions. So.
Oh yeah. Well,
and please ask your questions as you're going through, and we could bring them up. So it's very interactive. It's very, it's not very. We want to keep it very loose and not too structured, so we could ask questions, and anybody asking questions can get their questions asked.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to keep it open for things from the chat. So something like there. Yeah. So one of the folks who's been attending our Fourth World summer events is Lynn Walker, and I know we know Lynn from back on the Kirby L mailing list discussion group days. So we could actually put Lynn's line from the chat window up there and say, well, thanks, Lynn. We try to make it easy, so that's part of the fun. So that's the kind of stuff. So the Twitter comments and the YouTube comments and the Facebook comments all come in here, and that's Lynn from YouTube. And what the heck else? We've got Yafari from who is coming to us from Twitter on Periscope. So it's good to see you, man. Thank you. You're welcome. It's a pleasure. All right. So that's today's schedule. So we just kind of move on and talk a little more. Get into the Jack Kirby. What is the Jack Kirby Museum kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Just talk about what we've been up to.
Sure.
And I will cue that up. Where is it? Oh my gosh. I'm looking for it. Oh, there it is. And some people reaching out, texting, other things. just to make sure. Okay.
Hey, there he is.
Oh, who is this guy?
It's me.
Look,
You
we're
bombed
Young
her.
but cool Mike Cicchini.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, it's good to see you, pal. How's it going?
Sorry, fellas. Sorry,
all
I'm
right.
late.
Here we are. You know, we fired it off, and we're gonna do that right there. So that's Mike shows up, and this shows up on the screen. So that's
I'm a big advocate of young, tough Jack.
That's right.
Definitely.
So we did the run through of today's schedule. We showed people how that their comment. We can show their comments. There's Steve Meyer on YouTube that we can add to the screen, so that we can chat with people. He says hi, Mike. I don't know if you saw it, but so and we're just going to move into the what the heck is the Jack Kirby Museum anyhow presentation that we've shown, and we're going to kind of chunk through it a little bit just to give people an idea of what we've been up to. So there's the logo. We have where is it? Well, gosh darn it, it's in the background of the Silver Surfer's first appearance panel. No, that's not true. I think that is that art, but that's this is our mission statement. We're an IRS approved educational nonprofit charity. Your financial donations are tax deductible.
Depending on your taxes, tax
structure. Yep. And so we're here to promote the study, understanding, preservation, appreciation of the work of Jack Kirby by doing all these wonderful things that are in the bullet points, illustrating the scope of his career, communicating stories, inspirations, and influences, celebrating his life and creations, building understanding of comic books and comic book creators. And then we will do all kinds of things like have 3-day-long 26 event virtual live streams. But we do a bunch of other stuff too, as you'll see in this. So there's an early version of the trustees. That's Tom and I and John Morrow of the Kirby Collector and Tomorrow's Publishing, and Dave Schwartz, a Kirby family friend who helped us out for a few years. We're in I think our first actual San Diego Comic-Con booth, and just kind of doing that Jack Kirby, extreme foreshortening thing. I think that might have been a 3D photo that got flattened, but that's one of our booths. There I am at the Hoboken Public Library, talking to folks in my town here about Jack Kirby. That was fun. Here's one of our early DirtCon tables at the Big Apple Comic Con. I was in the Penn Plaza, and that was fun. Here I am in Asbury Park. Cliff set us up there. That was fun. Let's just keep moving. Oh, this was Brooklyn, I think, at the Brooklyn Comics Festival. That was really fun. Some panoramas from San Diego, panels at San Diego. There's Ray Wyman there in the center. He's going to join us for Sunday school on Sunday morning. That'll be fun. It's going to be great, actually. So keep that in mind. Look, we'll go back to that webpage and see the schedule for what's in Mark Avenir.
Just to mention that these are all the places we go to normally when there's no COVID-19.
That's right.
When there actually are conventions. So we try to go to all the major ones throughout the country.
Yep. And New York.
Which isn't going to happen either.
Nope. More New York. Oh, there's our first pop-up. We called it Prototype Alpha. And then, man, that was a blast. It was on Delancey Street, like 3 buildings away from one of Jack's locations that he lived on the New York census.
What year was that, would you say?
Oh, man.
I want to say like 2010.
It was 2013. It was fall of 2013.
Okay. Wow. How'd you find that out?
I just remembered.
You remember?
It was fun. That was a great
so much fun.
Oh yeah, it says it in the background, November. But
we made a connection with somebody who was turning storefronts into pop-ups, and he ran a Kickstarter for 8 weeks of pop-ups and teamed up with 8 different arts organizations and nonprofits. And so we got a week in this architecture office with these really huge windows that was right behind where the photographer is standing was the Williamsburg Bridge. So people who would go over the Williamsburg Bridge in their cars or the bus, I don't think the walkway was on that side. They would see this huge Galactus in the window.
Right. And it worked.
It worked. People were like, what's going on here, man? I see a huge Galactus in Silver Surfer. And yeah, it was a tight space, but the windows were great. And up there's the printout of the Dream Machine. There we are setting up. Oh man, that setup, that was a blast. We had the map of Jack's.
What was interesting is there was a high school or grammar school nearby, and they brought the kids by one day, and most kids didn't know that such a famous person as Jack Kirby actually grew up and lived in their neighborhood. So
right, that was the school right across the street, right?
Yes. Right.
Yeah. And then Tom Moorhouse brought his high school class from suburban New Jersey, which was, well, they came by during a break from a visit to the Tenement Museum, which is an awesome museum that was just like 3 blocks away. So yeah, but there's Harry Mendrick. So that's some of the way that we displayed items there. We did our paper-based interactivity at some points, like those. If you look at those, the Captain America and Devil Dinosaur covers that are in the back, you could flip them up and you would see the original art, and you could flip it up again and you could see a printout of the pencil photocopy. So it was fun, and we've done a number of that. Oh, there's me and James. James will be with us later. More first pop-up. Oh man.
And we did a lot of comparisons, and that's the first time we ever did it. We compared pencils, inks, and these, and everything flipped open, so you could flip between each part of the process.
Yep. Then we was it a year later?
A year or two.
Year or two later, we did Comics Combatives, stories told by Jack Kirby, Private First Class. Just trying to keep the idea that Jack was in the military, and it was lots of fighting. I mean, he liked judo and boxing when he was growing up. Street fighting with his buds on the Lower East Side. You know, the Jewish kids from Suffolk Street would fight the Italian kids from Elizabeth or Mott. That's what you did. You play handball against them one day, and the next day you're throwing rocks at each other. Because the parents are all, parents are like working hard, and grandma might be around watching the kids. Oh, that's my wife Lisa checking out the art in the Allen Street Comics Combatives. With our unique display choice of lots of angles and stepping. We had
for these it looks like original art, but we actually did replicas.
Right, because insurance purposes.
Yeah, for insurance purposes, it would be very difficult to show because I didn't have anything like that at this event. There's another one we're going to show you where we did have that event.
Right.
That they had a security system and so forth.
And Tom, just with these replicas, didn't you have to do something special to these replicas to make sure that there wouldn't be any potential problems if we were robbed, for example?
Not at this show. At the later show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these I actually I tried to get as close to the originals as possible. So I printed things out and I stained them and I mounted them on illustration board to get that thickness, and so they look pretty close to the originals. And we went to IKEA and got like 1 million frames.
Oh,
and
man, right before they stopped selling these frames. These frames are like were the best frames in the world because they had glass in them. And then we bought I don't know how many. We still have them. they don't sell them anymore, so it's all plastic. But we had all this great. We did feature the Captain America story, the fight story between the Submariner and Iron Man, and and that was the first appearance of your iPad book, right?
No, we had it at the first pop-up, but this is the first time the pencils and ink. We had just kind of like a flip through of a lot of different art at the first show at the Delancey Street one. But this one is
was the pencils to inks where it would fade between the pencils and the inks, right? Yeah.
Yep. Right.
So, there's John Morrow. He flew in from North Carolina to give a talk. That was really nice. It was great to see him. Oh, that's right. We got a call from a curator saying, having trouble finding people who will loan Jack Kirby art for a festival in Switzerland. Can you help? That's one of the things we do. So Tom Morehouse and Tom Kraft, two people with significant Kirby art collections, were recruited, and
actually a couple European
and some European collectors too. But they were looking for more stuff. They were looking for Golden Age stuff, and they weren't having much luck. So they reached out to us to fill that gap. And every year, Frumetto has a comic festival that takes over the town of the city of Lucerne. And boy, it was really, really cool just to see what's going on in Europe and how they treat Kirby. And
it was just cool to see the big murals, and the whole city was decorated with Jack Kirby. So, and then the actual place where the event happened was in their Picasso museum. So before they set up Jack Kirby, they took those other Picasso paintings down and put the real good stuff up.
It's not that way anymore, but at the time, it was the big. It was an older building in the old town of Lucerne that was a Picasso museum. Yeah, and they swept Picasso out and brushed Kirby in. It was a very fun thing. So here's one of the rooms. I mean, it was like 3 or 4 stories.
3 floors, and they were divided. The bottom floor was all the start, like his younger years growing up, and also the Golden Age. And then the second floor was Silver Age, and the top floor was Bronze.
And I had there's a snapshot that I have in my collection. I don't think it's here of just local class, with some teachers and a bunch of kids looking at this wall in the background, which is just always nice. Oh, there it is. Hello.
I was just going to say, I think it's in there.
Here's my coffee. That's great. And then, very, very, very nice. Then in 2015, some of our friends were involved in Jean Depelly and Frederic Manzano were working on a Kirby exhibit for 2015, and I think it was another place. It was going to be an exhibit, but it then ended up it was a display, so there was no original art in it.
Yeah. So what happened was it was originally going to be in their museum in town, but then
Charlie
Hebdo happened, and they decided to do an exhibition all about art around that, and so they moved it to a tent. So obviously, in a tent, you can't have original art.
Right.
So we helped them, and we provided images for 20 or 30 different pages from the digital archive that we have. So part of the role of the digital archive is also to support events such as these.
And it was cool, Angoulême, if you know comics, international comics culture, Angoulême is it's been going on for a long time. It's a small city in the southwest of France, and they just they take over the whole town at the end of January, and which is really great because what the heck else is going on at the end of January in this town? Probably not a lot, but it was they had the big Dark Side statue. Nice big display and entry display. Dun, dun. The Omega effect it's happening. So some panoramas they did. There's Jean de Palis. He will
be what day? Tomorrow or today?
Tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, they'll be joining us. And there's Frederic.
And we shot video interviews of all these guys that someday we should probably put up, I guess.
Yeah, we've got a lot of raw video that could be just a little bit processed and edited, and we could put it up, but we haven't. Because and then also tomorrow, Charles Hatfield will be joining us, Dr. Charles Hatfield, and he
the honorable.
He mounted the largest. So Lucerne was the largest Kirby exhibit, I believe, to date on the planet. I believe
you're right. Yes.
Okay, and then Charles's Comic Book Apocalypse was the largest Kirby exhibit in the United States, and it was great. He did a wonderful job. The people, I unfortunately don't remember his name. The curator there was really cool and very supportive, and they just had a great show. There's a panoramic shot. They made these really great big graphics to kind of center the visual of the space. Dream Machine was there. Collages. There was a whole room filled with an issue of Commandy.
14.
Your pencils to inks iPad was there, right?
Yeah, because it featured. I think it featured issue number 6, I believe.
Yeah. There was an issue of Thor, a complete issue of Thor. So here, this is what was going on. There were some events. I don't know what's going on with that kid.
He's getting eaten by the Silver Surfer. Oh my God!
And there's somebody using the iPad app.
Yeah.
Charles, there's a video on our YouTube channel of Charles kind of taking us on a tour through the exhibit, and he is wearing one of our pieces of merchandise, and which is available. I won't put the link up right now. Go to kirbymuseum.org. We've got merch, but it's a great video. Charles is he ends it by saying "Taru," so that's how could you beat that? That's great. So somehow I feel like these numbers have changed a little bit.
They've changed a lot, actually.
Changed a lot.
Not too much. Probably about photocopies are more like 8,000, and original art pages, if you include everything, is around 7,000.
Yeah.
So we have approximately between 13 and 14,000 pages of stuff.
Scanned. Yeah.
Scanned. Yes.
And it's amazing. It's a lot. We spend a lot of time scanning. Here's some scenes from life scanning for the digital archive coming up.
Yeah. And we go on the road in a lot of cases. Right. In some cases, we actually go to collectors' homes and we sit on the floor and we scan stuff.
Yeah.
Because we've done so many scans over the years that collectors are our best resource right now.
Right. Oh, I'm so happy to be scanning.
Kirby art, yeah. If you have Kirby art to scan, you know where to find us. We'd love to get it, and we could, we prefer to scan it because we have a professional scanner and we do it in a special format, digital format that's archival. However, we can accept other things too as well.
Sure.
And the late Joe Sinnott was great, and his son Mark to the left, far left, invited me up a couple times to scan at the house and talk to Joe and interview him and so forth.
Look at how much weight you've lost, man. Congratulations on that.
What do you mean?
You look like you got a little more meat on you in that photo.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. No, good. That's great. But Joe's been, Joe was really nice.
and that's
Oh.
Fantastic Frank in
That's
Rochester,
Fantastic
New York.
Frank. Yeah.
Rochester, New York. And then I was scanning his stuff. He goes, "Oh, I have a couple things." So I got to his house, and I'm originally from Rochester, New York, and I thought, well, I could scan a couple of things and see my family. Well, it turns out he had like 40 or 50 pages, and so I sat there for 2 days during 4th of July scanning stuff.
Well, I was going to be visiting, my family, but no, a few pages turned into 2 days worth.
Kept on pulling more and more out to say, "Oh, I have this. Oh, I have this."
That was so nice of him, though, and
It was
you're
wonderful man too.
Yeah.
Wonderful guy.
Here we are at one
your
of our,
house.
at right here in this apartment where I'm sitting, where we were calling them Scan Fests. I think we posted on Facebook and Tumblr when we were getting involved in Scan Fests, scanning the Kirby family's collection of pencil photocopies. So that was 8,000 photocopies.
Yeah. Roughly between 75 and 8.
And we've scanned them. There's still a lot of work as somebody who I work at the local historical museum. There's still a lot of cataloging to do and registrations to do and so on. But we have the scans, we have listings, ledgers.
The good thing about scanning this stuff is, the photographic process that was made, because Jack Kirby had a photocopy machine in his house around 1972, and the process was, it was a liquid process, so these things are degrading.
Yeah.
So the faster we could scan these, the better.
Right.
And we're keeping them in a climate-controlled place and within archival boxes now in order to make sure that they last as long as they can.
Yeah. So we also help publishers out with their publishing projects, like Abrams. I think Mark Avenir was working with Abrams and created this great book. So we actually did some scanning for that. We helped Mark with scans for his Kirby King of Comics book. This is Tom's great project, the Kirby Pencils and Inks first issues.
With IDW.
Yeah, with IDW, Scott Dunbier. We did
It's 2016.
Wow. Where's the time going? Incredible. So, then we had each of those, the stories there had original art in them, inked and lettered by Mike Royer. So Mike was kind enough to help us out and do some signed tip-in sheets that we've been, selling on and off. We've helped IDW with their artist editions. Scott has been making these books, has actually been sharing some of the scans that we don't have with us, which has been really great. Especially like I noticed during our the Summer of Fourth World live streams that, I'm going into the IDW stuff because he really was able to capture a lot of that. And, all of these things we definitely participated in those. What's going on here? Oh boy, it's Lord of Light.
Yeah, we also helped out Barry Ayergala, who's going to be, what is he, tomorrow also, I believe, right?
Yes.
So he had all the original negatives that he had taken, old school negatives, and so I went through and I restored them back. It took me like about 2 years to do it, maybe 3. I don't remember anymore. And so we're selling them as well.
Here's an example of the kind of restoration work that Tom has done. Actually, this is if you see on the left what the original art really looks like, and it's a great piece by Jack. The thing about that Jack's color work is that Jack generally liked to use Dr. Martin inks, and the problem with Dr. Martin colored inks is that they are quite what we call fugitive. They run away over time. They fade. Mm-hmm. So you can see the rectangle of the background where the pink was behind the matte so that the sunlight, and I guess it wasn't stored originally for years behind anti-ultraviolet glass, protective glass, so that the sunlight got through, caused some fading. So Tom very expertly wielded his Photoshop tool and tried to bring it back to something that looked more like what it might have looked like when Jack finished it.
Right.
And that best guess kind of scenario, but expert best guess. Yeah. And there's we did all three of them. We do have these available for sale on our website at kirbymuseum.org. So you can
in the gift shop.
In the gift shop. Oh, there's Jack working on the Dream Machine. That is the background of our stream here. It's just so cool because we get to. It's just a great graphic Kirby piece that ends up being used as in a lot of like a graphic element in a lot of our stuff and out there. This the amount of time it would take to kind of pop this guy to be more like what these guys look like, or what it looks like even in this photograph. That would be a significant project.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge.
But it might be worthwhile doing.
Oh, it is. It's an amazing collage called the what is it? The Power Packed Marvel Art of Jack Kirby. Our friend Tom Morehouse went through and pulled out every character drawn by Jack in Marvel Comics, and made a collage out of it. The original idea was to have it be kind of a back cover series, so some kind of mini series at Marvel. Marvel didn't bite. They had used his work before in their 50 Years of Marvel book in the book plates. So he pitched something else, but as I said, they didn't bite. But he just kept going because he is he's a man on a mission when he gets started on something. And we scanned this, and it is something that we offer usually at shows or sometimes for auction, and we are having an auction tomorrow night. So we'll see what pops up at that auction, and whether we'll offer one of these. They're huge, 24 by 36 or something. Oh, well, yeah, this is a part of a scholarship thing. So this is considered one of the first pop art pieces of art back from the 50s. Oh man, I can't pull the title out. It's by, I believe, Richard Hamilton. It's a long title. It's something about what makes everybody's living room unique. But it has a young romance image on it. And I was contacted by a fancy art magazine. Forgive me, from the UK, I believe, and they were trying to source all the images in the collage. And I reached out to Harry Mendrick, who was working on his significant Simon and Kirby project, and he found the original. So it's the original image on the right, but if you notice that the logo is different, the actual comic book had black fill in the words Young Romance, whereas what you're seeing in the collage does not. And Harry figured it out that it was from a house ad for that comic that appeared in like one comic book. It was really cool. It was great scholarship. We see a lot of great Kirby cosplay at the conventions. We hope we can gather some great cosplay images using our hashtag this weekend, Kirby103. We've got, it's Lil Barda. This is like one of my favorites, man. Was she 10 years old? You know, Mom and Dad did a great job with Lil Barda. Demon at Heroes Con, Lady Demon, I believe, at a WonderCon.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
These guys were awesome. I was like, come on, guys, a toast, hail Kirby. You know, so this was Heroes Con. Kind of a Lego Sentinel. Is that what I'm looking at? Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's computers. Commandy and the computers.
Lots of them.
endless rows of working computers. So where am I going here with this? This is a Steve Rude painting talking about how what the moment that blew Jack Kirby's mind when he was who he was. He was listening to radio. He heard the stories of the folk tales of his parent, of his mom, and her people. He discovered a pulp magazine in the rain of wonder stories that science fiction images of Frank Paul absolutely changed his life. He suddenly got that, and that's the pulp magazine that pretty much made Jack Kirby sent Jack Kirby off on his path to be the mind-blowing story and art guy that we know him as we're celebrating him as. There's Jack and his wife Roz. I think they're in Coney Island at this point. Here they are in their home in California in Thousand Oaks. Here's a self-portrait that he drew for Marvel Mania. This is the first piece ever inked by Mike Royer of Jack Kirby's art.
Who will also be on at...
Mike is going to be on today.
Yeah, today.
Yep. And so we've got, there's another self-portrait inked by Royer. There's Jack at his board with the pool outside. Another shot there from David Folkman, Jack at the
That's from
board.
around 1972.
This one? Yeah. We used that for the 100th birthday branding. It was just really worked out really nicely. And there's his workspace.
Can you believe it?
Incredible. Yeah. And he was with us from 17 to 94. And that's it. That's our What is the Jack Kirby All About Museum All About Anyhow presentation. So
some folks asked some questions. If you guys have time to answer questions before our next segment there.
Yep.
Comics Legend on YouTube has been very patient, but this one interested me, and I thought you guys might be interested in answering it. Have there been any recently discovered Jack Kirby interviews that will be uploaded to our YouTube channel?
Yes, there is. The one that I'm mentally preparing, not technically preparing to present this weekend. I don't know when, but we did some acquisitions. We paid for some digitization of items that are actually in the Stanley papers at the University of Wyoming.
Yeah, that's right.
Did I get it right?
I think so. Yeah.
And so there's one of the videotapes that the Stanley papers had was a news piece from local Los Angeles news about Kirby getting his artwork back. And so there's, it's a short piece, but it's very cool. It's Jack, it's Roz, it's Jack at his drawing board. So I'm thinking I'm going to fire that up at some point. Not during this segment though. But that's the one that pops to mind. Yeah. So no, we haven't, Ken. I think that it does make sense. I'm familiar with them, but I haven't made any personal contact.
Comics Legend has another one as well, which I think Tom probably has some thoughts on this with what's coming with the collections website.
Well, I don't know about a virtual comic Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
It'd be nice, but we're in the process. We've been in the process to take all these scans in the archive and make them accessible online for everyone to use and research. But I believe at some point during these 3 days, I'll be showing a little bit of how we've organized the database and also some of the images.
Yeah.
But and also maybe some of the designs that we've started on. However, we need funding in order to pay for development, which is crazy expensive, and plus we need volunteers to help us with image processing. Can you imagine processing 14,000 images? So if anybody out there is good at Photoshop and wants to donate their time, just email us at info@kirbymuseum.org.
Yeah, we do a lot of stitching, non-destructive stitching, and what is it called? Whatever. Yeah, it's a lot of work. People will be like, "Do you have that page?" We're like, "Yeah, we have that page. Can you send it to me?" It's like, we have to process it. It's not like we can just go to our file and say, "Here you go." We've got a lot of files, a lot of it still takes work just to do processing.
And we also charge a certain fee because
Sure.
in some cases we work with publishers and so forth, and we also don't provide any rights to use images if they're then copyrighted. Like for instance, like any kind of Fantastic Four stuff, you have to go to Marvel Comics and get permission.
Right. And just to continue with the theme of the virtual stuff, I have put my tiny little pinky toe into the world of Unity 3D stuff, and I'm also doing like walking tours here. I'm trying to do. I'm just at the beginning of developing walking tours of homes and historical sites here in Hoboken for my day job at the Hoboken Historical Museum. So there might be some kind of like way in the long run of some kind of photosphere that you can walk around in with, our Kirby stuff. But who knows? That's part of the fun. Thanks, man.
You at Dennis on Facebook asked if we have a list of all the scanned pages in art. I'm not sure if he means just what's in our possession or what's out there in the world and circulating.
Well, we have a spreadsheet of literally everything. We keep track of everything when we scan it, where we scan it, who owned it at the time, all that kind of stuff. We have all that information, and hopefully that'll be, on the collections website once we actually launch it, or we might put it someplace else. But just to mention, it's like 14,000 lines of stuff, and just to jam it into a website or online would be very difficult. We'd have to set up some kind of search or some kind of way of sorting because it's just way too much information.
And one of those projects, if we had there's no reason that we don't, to be honest, but if interns for collections and archiving and museums, it would be really great to kind of go through Heritage or the Kirby Collector and just make a record of pages and pieces that are out there that we don't have scans of. We have so much to do with just the scans that we have that we really haven't quite reached out into the scans that other people have made, like the auction sites again, like I mentioned, or other stuff. But that is definitely an avenue for expanding the recording of the scans, just scans in general, because it would be good to know.
Would we present Kirby pages by year and issue, so somebody could just theoretically go look at 50s Kirby or 80s Kirby art?
That is the online collection site that has the digital archive all in it. It'll be all searchable, everything like that.
Yep. You'll just be able to say, if you ever use like Ancestry.com and you're searching for newspaper articles and it says, show me stuff from here to here. And it's like, that's what we want to be able to do in the collection site as well. Right? We kind of have that in our minds for the design of it, right, Tom?
Yeah. And some of the layouts I've been working on take that into account.
Yeah. Hey, I think it's time we might have to move on and start getting ready for Tom Scioli. So thank you guys. This has been great. I mean, it's just really a nice interactivity, and we do have that hashtag Kirby103. So hopefully we can. I don't know. What are we doing with that hashtag, Mike?
We are looking for fan art, cosplay,
Yes.
Kirby-inspired work that you might be doing
Yeah.
in honor of his birthday today, or just that you want to show off. And I think what we will try to do, time permitting, on future streams throughout the weekend, is at the end of these, when we're taking questions and stuff. If we have time, we'll try and bring some stuff up from social media onto here.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'll keep an eye on our Twitter and signal boost some of you folks with the good work you're doing. So
cool. That's great.
Thanks for keeping Jack's memory alive.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, everybody. Thank you. See you soon.
Thanks. We'll see you soon.